around this time of year, there's always a lot of wind. You know, this is springtime, and you know, if you got a lot of wind, what are you going to do if you got a lot of wind? Well, I know what I do. I go fly a kite. One that I made. I got a lot of wind. Now, if you don't know how to make a kite, I'm going to show you how to do it. This is the perfect thing to do with your kids. Our materials for this project will include a length of about 3/16 dowel rod. This is a 4-foot section. You get 2 of them, just in case. String, and the string is used to form the outline of the kite on the skeleton of the kite. Cray paper for the tail. This is a streamer. And brown wrapping paper or postal paper to form the actual skin of the kite. Now you can use a garbage bag. It's might be a little stronger to use a garbage bag, but I'm going to use brown paper. What we are going to make is a diamond kite, and just as the name implies, it is the shape of a diamond. And we'll have a vertical spline and a horizontal spine made from the dowel rods. The length of this kite will be 40 inches from top to bottom. Now, about, I'd say maybe 45 years ago, I was at the library up in Morgantown, and I was reading an old Scientific American, a real old Scientific American, and it described how to make a kite that didn't need a tail. And what they recommend was to take this length of the vertical spine and divide that into tenths. So 10 into 40 would be 4. So 4 inches will equal 1 unit. That's a unit. For the vertical spine, they recommend 7 units. So 7 times 4 will be 28. So the width of our kite will be 28 inches. 7 units. And a unit is a tenth of the vertical spine. The string, we will wrap the string around the end of the dowels, and this will form the skeleton of the kite. On the end of the dowels we'll cut a little slit in there so that the string will stay. On the center we'll lash the dowels together and then drop a little bit of super glue on there just to give it a little bit of extra rigidity. On the back of the kite, the paper will go on the front of the kite. On the back of the kite, if you can envision this to be the horizontal spine, we will tie a string from here to here to give it a little bit of a bow, approximately 2 inches. A kite is nothing more than an airfoil. Pretend this is the wing on an airplane. You took a cross section of the wing, it'll look something like that there. And what happens is the air going this way goes at a different speed than the air on the top. And what that does is create lift. That's what makes the airplane fly. That's what makes the paper airplane fly. That's what makes the kite fly. I've measured the length of the dowels, and we'll go ahead and cut those now. On the horizontal spine, measure halfway, 14 inches, and put a mark. On the vertical spine, the 40-inch section, come down 3 units and put a mark. 3 units in this case would be 12 inches. Okay, match the 2 marks and take a section of string and begin to lash the 2 together. Now this might be a little bit tricky, but leave yourself enough on an end so that you can tie the other end of the string. Okay, after you get it lashed, tie the 2 ends together with a simple knot, and we'll dash a little bit of super glue on it. While the splines are laying flat on the table, use that as a reference point and mark a line here on each end. Parallel with the surface of the table. Now what that's going to do is, that's going to give you the line to where you cut the slot for the string. Put a drop of super glue in there. Now what that'll do is it'll harden the wood up and keep it from cracking. Okay, on one end of the string I've made a loop, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. And we'll start at the bottom, put the string into the slot, then go around all the other ends. When you get back toward the bottom, where the loop is here, cut the string, put the end into that loop, then make a taunt. And tie a couple of knots. This is what the skeleton of the kite looks like. I don't know how well you can see it without the paper on it. I have the paper on the workbench, and I'm going to mark a dot on every end of every spline. We'll first connect the 4 dots. After it's that line scribed, you need to scribe the actual line where you will cut it out. The line that you just put on there is theoretically is where the string is. This will be the line that we cut, and it's about 3/4 of an inch. If you've got a long 3/4 inch ruler, great. If not, you'll have to improvise. Doesn't necessarily have to be 3/4 of an inch. That's just the size of this metal ruler. Now you have to cut the outside line. The next thing you want to do now is fold the paper on the string line, and do that on all 4 corners. After you get that folded, on the ends or the points, cut the paper where the 2 folds intersect. Now we're ready to put the skeleton of the kite on the paper, or the paper onto the skeleton of the kite. So gently lift up the folds that you made, and the string will go into there. And you can use glue to fold the paper over and attach it onto the kite. paper glue that you would use in school works just fine. Matter of fact, that's what I recommend. Just keep going around till you get her all done. Okay, go around the perimeter. Check and see if there's any places you need to put glue. Let that dry for a couple of minutes. You can see it looks like starting to look like a kite. Here we have the back of the kite, and I made a loop on one end of the string. And that will go on one end of the spline, the horizontal spline, and then on the other end we pull it tight so there's about a 2-inch bow in it, and we'll attach it to the other end. On the tail end of the kite, let's tie a length of string, and this will be where we attach the tail. Okay, what we're going to make now is the bridle. And what that is a piece of string connected to the vertical spline, and which is what you will attach your kite string to. They call that a bridle. So what we'll do is we'll take some pieces of cellophane tape and put it approximately 2 units down from the top and 2.5 units up from the bottom, and we'll reinforce that paper. Because we're going to put a hole in it. We'll put a hole in the paper, and we don't want it to tear. Okay, carefully poke the holes for the bridle, and I'm going to use an awl. This one's about 2 units down, so just poking it through the tape. Same thing on the bottom, about 2.5 units up. I'm going to feed a piece of string through the hole, through one of the holes. And I'll force it around through the other end too. Make a loop here so that it comes to just below the cross section of the 2 splines. This is where we'll connect our string. Now we can make the tail. And what I have here is just ordinary crepe paper streamer. And you know, this is kind of this part here is kind of trial and error. So pull out about 8 feet and tie it on to the end of that string. The tail really doesn't add any lift, but it will stabilize. This kite's ready for a test.
Right?
I'm proud to fly this kite. I'll see you later.